What is philosophy? Philosophy is the love of wisdom, etymologically from the Greek philos, meaning love, and Sophia, meaning wisdom. In the beginning, the term philosophy was loosely used by Greek thinkers, and it conveyed many things. It was Pythagoras of Samos, a sage and a mystic during the 6th century BC, who invented the word philosophy. Philosophia, therefore, is the love of wisdom, and philosophers are lovers of wisdom. The story goes that while Pythagoras was watching the Olympic Games inside an amphitheater, he notices three groups of people. The first group were there to play games, to win, to compete, to fight in order to win honor, prestige, and fame. Pythagoras called them the lovers of fame. The second group of people went to the Olympic Games to make money and gain profit by selling their goods and wares inside. They were the lovers of gain. The third group went there to watch the games and be thrilled by the events unfolding. Pythagoras called them the lovers of spectacle. The story does not end here. After leaving the Olympics, Pythagoras observed, just as well, that there were still three groups of people in real life. There were those whose lives were lived solely for the purpose of becoming famous, lovers of fame. There were those who lived life with one aim, to become rich and wealthy, lovers of gain. But there were also those people who are just in a minority, who live life not to become rich or famous, but who live life with one purpose in mind, to understand what life is really all about. Hence, philosophy is used to denote love of thinking attitude, reflective attitude towards life. Philosophers reflect on knowledge, on God, on life, on death, on what man is and who man is, on right and wrong, on society, and other questions. Pythagoras called these people, including himself of course, lovers of wisdom. Pythagoras coined the term philosophos in order to differentiate them from the sophos. The sophos, during their time, were men of great intelligence, but they were so proud as to admit that they alone possess wisdom. The sophos were traveling teachers as well. They went to various places teaching the young rhetorics and the skill to debate and argue. Of course, for a pay. However, they are more interested not in the truth, but how to win every argument they are involved in. So Pythagoras claimed himself not a sophos, not wise, but only a philosophos, a lover of wisdom. Using a standard dictionary, philosophy will have to be defined as something like this. Philosophy is the study of the ultimate reality, causes and principles underlying being, acquired through the use of human reason alone. Plato gave a specific and technical meaning to the term. He defined philosopher as one whose attention is fixed on reality rather than on appearances. A philosopher is interested in grasping the essential nature of things. For instance, a philosopher was leisurely walking inside the university campus. He passed by an untilled garden. He saw a flower, a small flower, plucked it out, and then made a philosophical reflection. He said, "Little flower, I plucked you out from an obscure garden. Little flower, I am holding you in my hand. Little flower, if I can understand your roots, your stem, your leaves, your petals, and all in all, then I can understand life. And if I can understand life, then I can understand God. Thus, philosophy is defined as a reflective and reasoned attempt to infer the character and content of the universe taken in its totality. We may say then that philosophy is a resolute and persistent attempt to understand and appreciate the universe as a whole. Philosophy is basically an attitude and activity of the human mind. To have a guiding attitude towards life is to have a philosophy, since the principles which a man consciously or unconsciously adopts determines his thinking and actions in dealing with the practical issues of human existence. The impulse to philosophize is motivated by the desire to adopt for oneself and for others a creed to live by. The aim of such an attempt is to make our lives coherent and purposive. There is no sense in philosophizing unless it affects our attitude to life and its attendant problems. G.K. Chesterton, the noted English writer, said that the most important and practical thing about man is his attitude towards life and his view of the universe. Thus, it matters whether a man is a pessimist or an optimist, an empiricist or a rationalist, a skeptic or a believer. More than just a subject, philosophy is an activity. There is nothing new about the idea that the activity of philosophizing is more important than the subject, philosophy. Some 200 years ago, the great German philosopher Immanuel Kant told his pupils, "You will not learn from me philosophy, but how to philosophize, not thoughts to repeat, but how to think. Think for yourselves, inquire for yourselves, and stand on your own feet. Dare to think no matter where it might lead you. Just dare to think." Philosophy refers to a way of living and thinking. In this sense, every man has a philosophy. A man's way of thinking, his attitude, beliefs, and opinions constitute his philosophy. Our happiness, peace of mind, and style of living depends upon our way of thinking, or the philosophy of our life. In a general sense, when we speak of a man's philosophy, we simply mean the sum of his beliefs. His beliefs refer to those all viewpoints which guide his thinking and actions about life and the world. Different men have different kinds of philosophies. The 19th century German idealists, the kind of philosophy a man adopts depends on the kind of man he is. In India, we are told that philosophy is traditionally called darshana, implying thereby insight into the real nature and essence of things. In Platonic sense, a philosopher is a man of wisdom. A wise man has a clear understanding of the distinction between reality and appearances. Man is not like other animals. He is a rational being and lives in the organized life of society. He has ideals and purposes besides responsibilities towards others. Therefore, it is essential for him to know the distinction between real and unreal, between right and wrong, between knowledge and opinion. A philosopher is a guide to humanity. He is one who apprehends the essence or reality of the world, the one who is able to grasp the eternal and immutable. At this point, it is necessary to spell out the subject matter of philosophy. What is philosophy constituted of? The history of philosophy shows that philosophers have discussed a great variety of questions. It is very difficult to provide a general description which includes all these questions. However, we can roughly indicate the main questions with which philosophers have been concerned with. Generally, philosophers are interested in questions like: is there a God? What reasons are there to believe in God? Can we prove or disprove God's existence? Second question: what is knowledge? Can we know what it is to know? How can we know? Third, what is man? Who is man? Is man only his body, or is man his soul? Are we free? Are our actions already determined? Do we have a free will? What is right? What is wrong? What is beauty? What is the good life? What is happiness? Does life make sense? What is the meaning of life?